Good one.
I think it was Gulberg. So immigration officer pulled me over. He said, "Are you going to Gulberg as well?"
Wow.
They were like bunch of guys, right? And there was another friend among the group whose name was Adil.
Level further,
And my name is
side
Abid
further
Aziz.
is blood.
And he said,
It's okay.
your brother was also going.
And it's my first time I saw where the pedestrians can walk to the country.
Yeah.
I never saw that in Detroit.
ये तो बहुत common है यहाँ पे. Niagara Falls में आप walk कर सकते हैं. You can walk from Canada to US and US to Canada.
Yeah, but not in Detroit.
यहाँ Detroit वो depend करता है कि कितना दूर है शहर में. How far.
But here it's on land. It's land border. It's not a bridge.
Yeah. And just you just pass and
Like a walking ferry.
Yeah.
It
should be. It doesn't look like it. Because there's a small park there.
I've been pulled into the immigration area because I said that I'm bringing meat from their food. So I have seen like some of the cameras there.
अपना जान कर उसमें हाँ आ गया ना.
I see the inside.
Well,
एक सेकंड.
The Vancouver is beautiful.
शक्ल में आया.
So you're saying that's by half an hour from Bellevue, the ski hills are open?
Yeah.
our house is very. We go in.
When do they close?
Someone in the restroom or is it just walk?
It's locked. You have to go from this side.
All night? Not all night.
हाँ हो.
Not all night. Yeah.
I think they
Like
1 or 2 a.m.
Over the weekend it's all night.
They are going to be.
Okay.
And then,
Start?
yeah.
Is unmuted?
Yeah. Yeah. Live.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We will start in 1-2 minutes, inshallah.
Allah.
Sheikh, بسم الله. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتاب العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هنالك دعا زكريا ربه قال رب هب لي من لدنك ذرية طيبة إنك سميع الدعاء. وقال الله سبحانه وتعالى يا زكريا إنا نبشرك بغلام اسمه يحيى لم نجعل له من قبل سميا. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما الدنيا في الآخرة إلا مثل ما يجعل أحدكم إصبعه في اليم فلينظر بما ترجع. رواه مسلم أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Alhamdulillah, we are so blessed. I want to thank Basbai and his family and all of you for hosting us. Many of you, it's my first time meeting you this weekend. And inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us united through the lens of His love. And that we gather for His love, we separate for His love, and that we're gathered under the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala based on the love that we have for each other, through the lens of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's love. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Hadith al-Qudsi, وَجَبَتْ مُحَبَّتِي لِمُتَحَابِّينَ فِيهِ. My love is wajib, obligated. It's definitely going to be shared with those people who love each other for the sake of Allah. They will be under my arsh, under my throne, just for loving someone for the sake of Allah. So may Allah grant us that. It's nothing small. You know, when you go through tragedy, you go through pain in life, you'll find out who really loves you. You know? You'll find out who's really loyal to you. You'll find out the true colors of people. That is true love. We ask Allah to make us amongst those who have true love. You know, my brothers and my sisters who are viewing and friends who are here, one of the biggest assets that we have in our life is our children. And everybody you talk about when they have children who has common sense is concerned about their children. There is a society in America that is not concerned about the children. I live in Flint, Michigan, and my friends who are physicians there, they say that they're in the Peds department, there are more than 15 to 20 infants who are delivered and no parent is ready to take them home. There is that also. The child is kept in the hospital and then they have to find a foster parent to adopt the child. And many times in a society that does not know the biological father, then there's already a loss of responsibility. Because the primary responsibility of the child is the father's, financial. You have situations where 3-4 men will stand outside the labor room waiting for the child to come, give birth, and then the DNA test will come, and then identify the father. There's a whole process. This is happening in every hospital. It's so common that shows are made off of this. And there's a whole taliyan bajate hain. It's entertainment. I don't think this is entertainment for a child who's come into a world that's this chaotic. This chaotic. So, but overall, if you look at the successful trend of society, whether non-Muslims, Muslims, Jews, Christians, everybody, parenting is the key reason. And when there is a case study of a child who came out of jail, who lost their parents, who was an orphan, was successful, it's a unique situation. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, his upbringing was a very unique situation, where he was an orphan. And he was illiterate, but he never lied. He never had any history of where you could point finger at the Prophet's character. He was such an honest person. And we are responsible for ourselves. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِكُمْ نَارًا. Allah says in the Quran that we have to save ourselves and our family from Jahannam. How do you save yourself and your family from the fire of hell when there's constant fumes falling into your home? The Prophet ﷺ in the time of Medina went into the hillside of Medina, ala utumi min atami Medina, and he stood up and he looked through the city. He had a view. You know, you have the view of Bellevue, and then you have the needles, Space Needles. You have the Space Needles. You can see. The Prophet had this view, and he says, "I can see fitna taqa'u fi buyutikum is dripping into your homes. I can see the shaitan." He didn't see no antennas. He didn't see no dish. He didn't see no, Wi-Fi. cyber active waves. All he saw was I can see fitna. And the Prophet ﷺ could see things that we cannot. Prophet ﷺ said, "Inni ara ma la tarawun wa asma' ma la tasma'un." I see what you don't see, and I can hear what you don't hear. He could hear there are sometimes that the physics of hearing something was also extended to others to hear. You know the story. Prophet was sitting, and he has the date seeds in his hand. Khujur khaye, unke dane, aap sabke haath mein hai. And they're doing dhikr. The Prophet is going to hear this. He says, Abu Bakr, can you hear this? He gives Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr puts it close to his ear. He can hear it. Umar is like, can I hear it? He goes to Umar. Umar hears it. Goes to Uthman. He said, bring it back. It's not for everyone. And we know in Jummah, attendance of the Prophet's masjid was the biggest. 100, 200, 300. Even Medina was established community. The cry of the tree was heard by the whole masjid. So sometimes the laws were changed. So the patterns, I'd say the patterns. There is no law for Allah. Allah is irada is law. That there is patterns. Allah just removes the physical texture of those patterns. The thing is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about a few things in the Quran. One of the few things is that importance of having the concern of raising, just through the Quran lens, the importance of just protecting our children. Usme kya hai? Sometimes we make our children better Muslims, and sometimes our children make us better Muslims. Like hum both cheezein khud karna cha rahe hain. I'm going to do this, but now I can't. Because I have children who are at school tomorrow. They're watching every single move. We're not allowed to lie. We're not allowed to lie. I was going snowboarding, and kids who are 6 and under are half price. Half price. My son just turned 7. I didn't know. Even when you turn 33, you still follow 32. 2021, we're still writing 2022 on the check. Kind of like, So I'm going there, and I write 6. And I know it's half price off. But I didn't know. It skipped my mind, he's 7. So my calculation, 6 years old, it's $94. Ski lift, board rental, it adds up. A whole family, it could be $600 plane. So my 6-year-old says, Baba, I'm not. No, that's a lie. It's not true. The thing is that you have these children in front of you, they're watching everything. They're hearing everything. They're so cognitive. And one of the things that you hear that the Prophet's concern was, and the Anbiya, was how can they protect their children? If you follow the trend of Ibrahim al-Islam, he's constantly making the same dua. Rabbi ja'alni muqim as-salati wa min dhurriyyati. This is Ibrahim. Oh Allah, make my children establish salah. He leaves his family in Mecca and he goes to give da'wah towards Sham. And he's in, oh Allah, I've left my children biwadin ghayri dhi zar'in inda baytika al-muharram. I left my children here. There's nothing, no school. Forget school. No form of education, no food, nothing. Zamzam comes from that story. But he made 3 du'as. First dua he made, Rabbana liyuqim as-salah. Allah, make them establish salah. Just today, a father, his son goes to our school. He said, my 11-year-old came home. At 5 o'clock in the morning, he was waking up the whole house with fire. So I couldn't believe it. Who was it, you? When you met Naeem Bhatt? Was you telling me yesterday? He said, "Aapne kaha bachon ke liye dua karenge, aap khud sudhar jaye." That's a very deep statement. We don't have to change our children much. We have to change. The way we speak to our spouse, the way we look at our phone, everything has been documented. They're just picking up. And early child development, you guys are educated, tells you by the age of 2, the child's personality is very developed. By the age of 2, by the age of 4, his character is developed. This is why we have, living in Seattle, living in Washington State, we have a big responsibility. I look at the schools. I saw the Jewish school in Bellevue. Have you guys seen that school in Bellevue? I looked at it and I said, man, it's secured, equipped. I said, Muslims need something. Muslims have to put their money and their mind and their resources down for their kids. Because if we don't, in the long run, we're going to have to pay equal value. If they go into drugs, if they go into bad relationships, if they have court cases, just paying their parking tickets. In college, good luck. And their speeding tickets. So we have a responsibility. Prophet Ibrahim as-salam, constant dua. There's one dua that gives me a little bit goosebumps. That dua is, وَجَنُبْنِي وَبَنِيَ أَن نَعْبُدَ الْأَصْنَامِ. Oh Allah, save me and my children from worshipping idols. How? I mean, if you think about the question, like the dua, how is he going to worship idols? He's never going to worship idols because he's the one that broke the idols. He left his father because they had a conflict in this word, this concept. He tried to give da'wah to his father. He tried hard. Surah Maryam is a very interesting surah. It talks about a father who's righteous asking for a righteous child. Zakaria asking for a child. Then it talks about a righteous mother who was given a righteous child. So a father who's righteous, a mother who's righteous. Then the story flips. And it talks about a son who was righteous but did not have a righteous father, Ibrahim. So it's like a very unbelievable journey of Surah Maryam. Ibrahim as-salam's had the hardest struggle. Imagine your father is not a Muslim. We just can't imagine because we're so used to it. Ask an African American who accepts Islam, or a white man, or a Chinese, or a Hindu. One day I gave khutbah on the love of parents. Just of love, respect. There was not an eye in my bayan that wasn't crying. Everybody was just touched. Parents, and everybody loves their parents. Even the child who doesn't listen to them, really love their parents. No one wanted to live with that moment without their parents. So I finished. This man who, his name is Ruhan, may Allah, alhamdulillah, bless him. He came up to me, he asked me a very difficult question. And in my khutbah I said, there is no delay in your mom's du'as, or your father's du'as. There is no parda. ثلاث دعوات يستجاب لا ترد. The Prophet said 3 du'as accepted, guaranteed. No rejection. Al-walid waladi, a father for the child. Of course, a mother. A fasting person, a sa'im, a madloom, who's oppressed. In one riwayah, a musafir, a traveler. So I said this man came up to me and said, Shaykh Abdullah, how can I ask my mother to make dua? When I do, indirectly I'm asking her to worship an idol. She's Hindu. He's convert. So I can't even get dua for my mother. And right now he's looking for residency. Imagine if you're a convert and you have your J1 status not working out. और आपकी माँ की दुआ आपके साथ नहीं है. We don't understand this. कितने लोग हम में हैं जो आज जहाँ बैठे हैं अपनी माँ की दुआ से बैठे हैं. और ऐसे कौम है जो मुसलमान है उनके पास माँ की दुआ नहीं है. It's a big deal. We never thought about this. So Ibrahim alayhi salam went through a struggle. You know, Musa alayhi salam, when his mother passed away, Allah said to Musa, watch your step. अब समझ कर चलना पड़ेगा. Now your mom is not there to make dua for you. This is Musa, Kalimullah. जिसकी दुआएं कबूल होती हैं, माँ की दुआ भी साथ. He needs the mother's dua. Ibrahim alayhi salam is trauma. There are 2 stories that traumatize me in the Quran. Ibrahim struggled with his dad, and Nuh alayhi salam struggled with his son. I read this story to my 5-year-old son when he was 5. Now he's 9. Of Nuh alayhi salam, he started crying. What happened? He was digesting the story so deep that a relationship with a father and a son at that age is so profound, he could not imagine that a child in front of his dad was drowned and died. Okay. And the biggest warning in the Quran was on Nuh alayhi salam. Biggest threat unto Nuh alayhi salam. Nuh alayhi salam was crippled. He was crippled. Ibrahim as-salam was mentally crippled after his father. Ibrahim as-salam used to make dua so much. Allah said, watch out, stop. You can't make dua for your father. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when his uncle died, he was dilapidated mentally. It comes in Sirah, after Khadija and Abu Talib passed away, the Prophet didn't leave his house. He was so disturbed that my uncle died without Islam. We know the story. That Allah revealed 2-3 ayat. إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. In the same place, Allah says, you're not allowed to make dua. ما كان النبي والذين آمنوا أن يستغفروا للمشركين ولو كانوا لقربى من بعد ما تبين أصحاب الجحيم. where Allah says the rule that a Muslim cannot make dua for a non-Muslim who died without Islam. In this COVID, so many people are questioning us, can we make dua for our relatives who died without Islam? I'm sorry. What do we do at their grave? हम कुछ कह नहीं सकते उनको. Rest in peace. What do you do? You know? So right there, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings Ibrahim alayhi salam. وَمَا كَانَ اسْتِغْفَارُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ إِلَّا لِأَبِيهِ إِلَّا مَوْعِدَةٍ وَعَدَهَا إِيَّاهُ. Ibrahim. So Allah is relating the story to Prophet ﷺ. You're not the first person to struggle with that adult dying without Islam. So this concern of your children is such one of the major concerns. How many times did Nuh alayhi salam tell his son, just get up. Come on, get up, get on. Get onto the ship, that's it. His son did not understand, did not want to accept. He used his intellect. And your children are going to give him some secular education, they're going to question quantum physics, the laws of gravity. Okay, God exists, but what is the message? What is this formula of his existence? Why is this evil happening? Does God know everything? And if he knows everything, why is he allowing dead Muslims to die? And from my community, a Syrian girl went to volunteer in Turkey, full parda, came back, almost left Islam. She saw the Muslims, she said, if this is Islam, and my God is not helping, I don't want to be this religion. People are going to go through trauma. Not talking about the parties they are going to be exposed to in college. There is that ethical challenge, and there is a spiritual challenge. 14% of people who are born into Islam do not identify as Muslims anymore. And converts, 51% leave Islam. There's big, so there's a major value asset of our children. I used to say this as an analogy, but now I say this as a reality. Whenever a car accident happens, you say, your daughter calls you, your son calls you, say, the car is totaled, Dad. You're okay? I'm okay. Because a car is replaceable. It's okay, insurance claim, maybe no claim, who cares? My younger brother, Abdul Rahim, when his car into a car accident, when I was told he died, that's it. It's really, when you lose someone, it's, at that moment you say, I wish it was the house, I wish it was the car, and you're ready to pay the compensation for that. There is no pain that's greater than losing a brother or a child. But in life, there's almost no pain greater than having your child lose Islam. But in that child, if he dies with Islam, nothing can help you. After the death of my brother, nothing was more peaceful. And Shaykh Father told us all this over and over. Nothing is more peaceful than knowing that he died serving his mother. He died serving his mother. Grabbing medication, teaching Quran, lunch break, grabbing medication, and passed away. This is October 5th. The first thing I asked, what was he doing? So this is what he was doing. I said, that's it. That's so, we have Zakaria alayhi salam. Can you imagine a man like Zakaria and Ibrahim who have everything, have Allah. But they're awlad, bar Allah se awlad mang rahe. And those who don't have children, Allah give them children. Say Ameen. And if you don't have children, there are people who didn't have children. Aisha Allah used to cry. She never had any children. No. She was a prophet's wife. All the prophet has to do is raise his hand. Give my Aisha a daughter. Give my Aisha a son. So Allah also gave example to the mothers that will come to the Day of Judgment. The greatest women in this ummah, from amongst the greatest women was Aisha. She had no children. So sabr. We do sabr. We're rida. Can you imagine? I don't want to go too deep on this discussion, but Musa alayhi salam killing that boy, it's one of the most difficult discussions to have in Aqidah and theology studies. And then Khizr killing that boy in Surah Kahf. Musa alayhi salam, this was his strike 3. This was his strike. These are 3 strikes that he went through. And before he started the journey with Khizr said, you can't ask me any question. I'm not going to promise. And every time he asked a question, إِنَّكَ لَن تَسْتَطِيعَ مَعِيَ صَبْرًا. You cannot stay here, get out of here. You don't have enough patience. This is Musa alayhi salam. He said, please, give me another chance. Anyways, أَقْتَلْتَ قتلت نفسا زكية بغير نفس. This guy did not kill anybody. He doesn't deserve a death penalty. Why did you kill him? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says after the story goes through, أما الغلام فكان أبواه مؤمنين. This boy, his parents were righteous Muslims. What was the possibility? Which was not possibility. What was the definite cause that's going to happen in some time? فخشينا أن يرهقهما طغيانا وكفرا. This kid is not only going to be a bad kid, he's going to grow up, be a bad person, and take his parents to hell. इससे बेहतर है कि वो जवानी में मर जाए, जन्नत में चले जाए. This is so hard to grasp. This is so hard to digest. And then Allah was going to replace them with more beautiful, pious. Give them more children, pious children. But having a child that has your child, if he doesn't turn out to be righteous and a proper practicing Muslim, he's going to turn you that way too. How many of us? We don't want to go to Disney World. We have to go. I came back from Disney World, so everybody's asking. My brothers ask me, so they like my opinion sometimes. They don't follow it. It's kind of cuckoo. They say, what's your opinion on Disney? I said, Hajj of the Kuffar. I'm not against it. I just give my opinion. And then when I was in Hajj, my whole bus says, they're asking me my opinion. Sheikh, they think I'm some like city planner, designer. I say, can you give us a few words to tell us finding the solution of Hajj traffic? I looked at them, they looked at me. I said, Disney. The only people that can plan and expedite plan of such a large crowd in the world at such a large scale is Disney. Give them the projects. Give them the service. Of course, Mickey will be coming out of Makkah. But, that'll be a different problem. But the way I saw the planning of the non-Muslim, you guys work at corporate America, it's just mind-boggling. Our children, we do things for them that we don't even want to do. We take them places, we give them things that we don't want to give them. Technology. We know the harm of it. One of my friends, he's an IT guy from Hyderabad. I said, this is too much screen time. I said, दिमाग खराब हो जाएगा बच्चे का. He's like, अगर हम बच्चों को फोन देंगे, हमारा दिमाग अभी खराब हो रहा है. So we're ready to be at least हमको 2 घंटे की तसल्ली मिल गई. उसका दिमाग आखिर में खराब हो जाए तो हम कम से कम थोड़ा सुकून में. So he had his own reverse answer. But the reality is that these are the challenges we have. The kids are getting thousands of hours of violence in video games, in TV before the age of 10 and 11. Thousands of hours. You should read Leonard Sachs' book. Every parent should read The Collapse of Parenting. Leonard Sachs' book, The Collapse of Parenting. Then he has other books on parenting like teens and daughters. You have daughters. One of the books that's written, if you have daughters, great fathers, great daughters. I 100% agree. If you want your daughter to be a great girl, the father has to be a great person, not the mother. And for a son, your daughter looks up to the father so much. And if the father is a good man, and when she gets married, she wants that type of respectful person. Like a lot of women, they can't last in marriage because like, this guy, my father was, the first man they saw was a father. Like, my father didn't do this. I can't, this is not acceptable. So this is why, we have these stories of the prophets in the Quran. Zakaria salam begging Allah. He has everything. Give me, Rabbi la tadarni, for Allah, please do not allow me to die without a child. Push that I. Finally he got lucky. He comes one day to see Maryam alayhi salam. كلما دخل عليها زكريا المحراب وجد عندها رزقا. He comes in, he sees Maryam alayhi salam with rizq. قال يا مريم أن لك هذا? How did you get this rizq? This is winter. You have summer fruits. Allah knows exactly when Jesus was born. The Christians say it was winter. God knows best. Nevertheless, if we follow that, Israeliyat riwayat, if it was in winter, there should not be fruits of summer in Palestine. So where did you get this from? قال هو من عند الله, from Allah. إن الله يرزق من يشاء بغير حساب. Allah can give you fruits. Allah can give me children. Actually, one of the words of children in the Quran is fruits. Thamarat. Allah says we're going to test you. Khawf, ju' wa naqs min amwali wal anfus, and loss of life. What thamarat also refers to in tafsir, your son. This is why when a person dies, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you took someone's son, akhadhtum Walad abdi, you took my servant's child? He says, Na'am. أخذتم ثمرة فؤادي. The word thamra. You took the fruit of his heart? You took the apple of his eye? So Allah, I did. Allah is asking the angel of death, the angels, ماذا قال عبدي? What did my servant say when you took his fruit? His love. He said, حمدك واسترجع. He said, Alhamdulillah. She said, Alhamdulillah. He said, إنا لله وإنا راجعون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ابنوا له بيتا في الجنة وسموه بيت الحمد. Now, you angels who took his child, go construct him a palace. उनका काम है. Go construct him a palace in Jannah, and the name of that palace is Bayt al-Hamd. Ready. So this is the Zakaria salam making dua. Allah just, he comes in, هُنَالِكَ دَعَ زَكَرِيَّا رَبَّهُ. Zakaria made this dua. What's the dua? It's like saying equivalently, I say this again, Hajj. So in Hajj, this is common theory of Makkah. हम सबको पता है. काबे की पहली नजर पर दुआ क्या मांगे? शेख, क्या शेख साहब दुआ क्या मांगे? जिसकी शादी नहीं हुई है वो तो शादी के लिए, जिनकी शादी नहीं हुई तो परेशान है. You know, so what dua should we make? And somebody asked me, Sheikh, is this hadith, Quran, कि काबे की पहली नजर पर दुआ कबूल है? मैं कहा कोई आयत नहीं है, कोई hadith नहीं है. मगर the most practiced ritual is this. So लोग परेशान हो गए. So Sheikh se pucha, kisi aur se, we have some big shuyukh in our group, Yasir Qari Saab and Salah Sawi, we have some big, good people in our group. Everybody's just, they had no solid answer. I just said, I was quiet, and I said, let me tell you guys the answer. I said, there is some times in your life when there is extreme growth of spirituality, and in that ecstasy, there's definite reward of definite acceptance. Zindagi mein aise mauke aayenge कि you will have such a boost of iman, and in that moment there's 100% acceptance of dua. This in the hadith, inna lillahi nafahat. Allah के पास ऐसे मौके हैं जिंदगी में जहां आपका ईमान, आपकी रूह अल्लाह के साथ ऐसी लगती है कि आप जो भी दुआ मांगे अल्लाह कबूल करे. Sometimes with a broken heart, sometimes with नेमत, आंखों में आंसू आ जाए उसमें दुआ कबूल. So the guy said, what are you trying to say? I said, look at Zakaria alayhi salam. When Zakaria alayhi salam saw the fruits, he was a prophet, his iman went up the sky. He said, if Allah can give Maryam fruits, and off season, he said, this conviction, which was already there, was becoming stronger. I'm getting it. What did he make dua for? هُنَالِكَ دَعَا زَكَرِيَّا رَبَّهُ. Imagine you, for the rest of your life, the first dua you make, look at the Kaaba, is, oh Allah, give me pious children. That's this equivalent of this. رَبِّ هَبْ لِي مِن لَدُنْكَ ذُرِّيَّةً طَيِّبَةً. Oh Allah, just give me a pious. That's all, pious children. Pious children are going to take care of you in your life. They'll pray for you. They will do everything for you. You know, in India, Pakistan, even if you're not super naked, but your culture, बाप चल रहे हैं उनके पीछे आगे नहीं चल रहे. कम से कम अदब है. In America, there is no way you can discipline that without Islam. You cannot tame that. My brother, Rahmatullah, who passed away, Mufti Abdul Rahman was saying, so the last thing he did for me, my brother was a sheikh, he was an alim. He just came back from Karachi. His brother is 7-8 years older than him, Mufti Saab. The last thing he did, the last time my brother Mufti Saab met my youngest brother, Rahmatullah, he passed away, was that he saw Mufti Abdul Rahman getting up from the house, from the room, and going to the front door to leave to go to his house, from my mom's house. Abdul Rahim noticed, he was cognitive of this, he said, he noticed that his older brother, when he came in the house, he came from the garage. But he's going up from the front door. He went on his own to grab the sandals or slippers of Mufti Sahib and put it right in front of his feet. That's the last thing. If you can come home and your children can give you respect and love, you accomplished. Because now you can tell them anything, they'll do it. Fajr, homework, groceries, what are you doing? Friends are going to call, I'm serving my dad. So, it's not just an akhirah discussion. Even in dunya, if you want to have a prosperous, sukoon life, this is the best. In jealousy, there are 3-4 places where people get jealous. Let me make this right. Just from from an academic discussion. Your people are going to be jealous of your money, your car. People are going to be jealous of your education, how much how accomplished you are academically. People are also going to be jealous of your beauty, your or your wife or your children, their beauty. This is all materialistic jealousy. The most dangerous form of jealousy is when people are jealous of your children's Islam. इसलिए खतरनाक because كل ذي نعمة محسود, जितनी ज़्यादा बड़ी नेमत होगी उसका ज़्यादा खतरा. No one's going to get jealous of my Honda Odyssey. I drive Odyssey. 4 or 5 years old. Not really. Not in my community where everybody drives Audi and a range. So it's when you have a child in America and they're practicing and they're respecting you, this is diamond. This is diamond. Mufti Abdul Rahman was in Barbados with his teacher, Mufti, his ustad. They were there for a trip, like we were here today, for a donation trip. And they went to the beach after Fajr. After Fajr, the locals said, let's go to the beach. So they went to the beach till after Ishraq, just for 1-2 hours, and then they wanted to leave before the public came. I would usually stay, but the public come, that's the time to stay. But these are real muftis. They started to get up and leave. So while they were going, Mufti Abdul Rahman, he dusted the feet of his teacher because he has some feet issues, and he cleaned it and he put his socks on for him, and his shoes, and then he got up and left. So as they were leaving, the teacher, the people, there were some old couples there. They said to the teacher, "You're blessed." He said to the teacher, "You are blessed." He said to the teacher, he didn't know the teacher, that was the father. So you're blessed, your son serves you like this. So they went ahead, they stayed quiet. They forgot something on the beach, so Mufti Abdul Rahman, he had to go back to pick up something. So they came back. So the old couple said to Mufti Abdul Rahman now, he says, "Man, you were serving your dad." He said, "I'm sorry, it's not my dad, it's my teacher." So first this non-Muslim said to this Mufti, our senior Mufti, "You are blessed because you have a pious child." When Abdul Rahman told him, "No, he's my teacher," the non-Muslim said to the kid now, "You are blessed. You are blessed." Someone who's done this tarbiyah. So in the Quran, in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, there's extreme love the Prophet gives Hassan and Hussein. Extreme love. You know this. I know this. He loves them so much that he's ready to stay in sajda so long the Sahaba are getting irritated. He's carrying them in salah. In the khutbah, he's giving khutbah. He sees Hassan coming in, Hussein crawling. He gets off the member, grabs the children, picks them up. If I did this in my masjid, they'll fire me. Khatib Baghdadi. So I said, I saw this story, I was amazed. And then the Prophet grabs the children. He doesn't justify it. He doesn't say, I got revelation to pick them up. Maybe kuch kehta Allah yaad aa gaye, bachon ko utha liya. No, he doesn't justify his spiritual situation. He says, "Innama amwalukum wa auladukum fitna." Ye fitna. I could not resist that my grandchildren were coming, and I just left them walking. I got off. He said, "This is a challenge. This is a challenge." But one day he comes back and he sees bracelets of brass or metal or iron on the wrist of Hassan Hussein. And he does not grab the children, he walks away. And he tells Bilal, "I do not want the dunya on the hands of my children. Go make wood pieces and put simple ones on the children." He could not tolerate dunya. He was so careful about this. So we have a big responsibility. And part of that growth and protection is institutions. Home and environment. Home and environment. Masjid, a Quran program, ilm program for your daughters. They say, or the women say this, and strong feminists will say, "We are half of the population, and the half of the population comes from us." They say this. If you raise one daughter, you've taken care of the man and the woman. And of course, if you take care of the man, you have big responsibilities taken care of. So as a sheikh in my house, I have 3 children. I've studied books, I've studied seerah, but when it comes to practical, Doesn't matter what courses you've done, you're just a rookie. You don't like, the kid is controlling you. And Islam is the most important thing to them. 5 times salah. The fear of Allah. They're not around for us. Imagine in a country like this, and they start driving at 15, 16. I don't care if you have a tracker on their car, you don't know where they are. When they go in their bedroom after a certain time with their laptop and their phone, you don't know what they're doing. You don't know what they're seeing. There are kids, Muslim kids, who are being a target of sexual predators. If you read the chats they're using. I open my friends, kids, students, I said, bring it, come. And they open up their gaming platform where they have the game chats, the language that's being used. And I'm like, the girls who are talking to them, who are 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, they're talking like they're 24. This is not just in America, it's everywhere. You think America's pretty good still. I went to Kuwait. If you ever want to know this country, ask the taxi driver. Just ask the rickshaw taxi driver. So I go there, I sit in the taxi, I was there for 1 month, Kuwait. And I was meeting shuyukh, and I was meeting Afasi, and big shuyukh, that I was having a good time. So 4 or 5 days, I was with the scholars. But on the weekend, I said, the shores here, humko thoda sa masti karni hai. Nice cars, beach, everything. So I said, man, I gotta go party a little. Hey, Barbie, let's go party. I was single and ready to mingle. I said, koi thi mil jayegi, dunya akhirat mil jayegi. I was just messing around. So I was just messing around. I wanted to go it was a stressful time. I wanted to get some fresh air, fresh air. More like ganda air. But I went in a taxi sitting, I said, كيف الحال هنا؟ كيف الحوال في Kuwait? What is the condition? Oh, and they tell me about the youth. I want some masala. He said, لا تسأل الأخوة. He said, don't even ask. I said, what do you mean? He said, hashish, drugs everywhere. Marijuana. This is 2008, 2007. The marijuana everywhere. I said, I was shocked. Muslim country? Cocaine, marijuana? It's everywhere. He said, the girls, they come out of their house, full abaya. Right when they get in the car, they take it out, put it in the purse, and they sit with the most immodest clothing, and the language they use, and they're disrespectful to Egyptians, right? Like they're servants. He's like, Ya Abid, Ghulam, just drive. And they're saying things behind me. He's an Arab. Like, don't say that. And they talk like they're 24-year-old girls disrespectfully. And I told them, please, ittaqillah. They basically in the language, shut your mouth, you're our servant, just drive. Just drive. He's like, I'm disappointed. I said, where does the hashish come? He says, thanks to US Embassy. That's all. That's all I had to stop. I just stopped there. We're on YouTube maybe. Thanks to the US Embassy, that's it. Comes from Afghanistan to Iraq to get sold in Kuwait. The opium. Destroyed our society. Well, legalize it? Yeah. The reality is we are not in trouble. And this is where I am hopeful. Musa alayhi salam was raised in the house of Fir'aun and he became Kalimullah. America is still better than many places. Imagine India. I went to Pakistan first time. I was 12, 13 years old. My puppy, my dad's side, is all army. And the sisters are doctors in the armies. So they're a very secular mentality. I sit down, my aunts, uncles, my dad is the youngest brother out of 8, so he really doesn't have a voice. And they're all army, so there's already this extreme arrogance. And then the youngest, they asked me, what are you doing? I said, I'm becoming Hafiz. And they said, oh, you've wasted your life. Wasted your life. I said, I looked back, I said, and then their daughter comes, I think I'm 13, 14, their daughter comes, she's 17. He said, shake hands. Shake hands. And I'm like, I'm not shaking hands. My mom is there. मैं करता गर्मी नहीं होती है ना तो झगड़ा लगा रहे अम्मी भी अम्मी को दिखाना कि नेक हूँ मैं अम्मी की दुआ मिल जाए. My mom is there. I'm not amongst those people that act pious and no, you gotta be real. So my cousin comes, first time, beautiful young girl. So my puppy is saying, shake hands. मैं तैयार हूँ, हाथ तैयार है. अम्मी बैठी हुई अल्लाह देख रहे हैं थोड़ा सा. So me, what are you gonna do? And she gets mad. She gives me chapet. तुम्हारी बहन है, अगर बहन है गले लगा तो अम्मी के सामने मैंने लगा, इसका लंबा किस्सा है शेख महमूद हसन साहब का। अब क्या करें यार, बाद में तौबा कर लेंगे, So the reality is, that's the situation there in Islamabad. I'm telling you, if I was raised in that society of Islamabad, I would not be a Hafiz. But I was raised in Detroit, I'm going to become a Hafiz. Allah brought you to Seattle. Allah brought you to this community. Inshallah, for your children to be great Muslims. And when they become great Muslims, and then you go to Hyderabad, and then you go to India, and you take your daughter out in front of your nephews and their cousins, हैरान हो जाएंगे कि हाफिज है, नमाज अरबी आती है. They will be shocked. कहा कैसे? They'll be, आपको दुनिया भी मिल गई आखिरत में. That's what's happening. So this is why we established our school. I just done a small appeal for our school. We wanted to have this vision. My dad, when he was coming to America, he went to do his PhD at MSU in pathology after doing his MD. When he came here, he said he sat down in the classroom. You guys know. He sat down in MSU. MSU is one of the biggest party schools, universities in America. MSU in Arizona State. These are the top party schools in America. He sat down, he saw the girl sit, little skirt on the table like this. Just very disrespectful, very immodest, coming from an army background. This was just not acceptable. So he went on he was only given visa scholarship for himself. So he went back. He said, I want my wife to come. They said, why? He said, I don't want to live in a society with such immodesty around without my wife. So he said, no, Dr. Khan, do you know what you're going to do if you go there? He said, what? He said, you're going to have children there. And what's your point? He said, my dad said, I want to have children and I want to raise them in front of my eyes. And then he says, there's an American counselor guy, white guy. He says, how do you plan to raise them? He said, I want to raise them in front of my eyes. He says, I can guarantee you your children will not come out like the way you want them to come out. So what do you mean? He said, we are tested and trialed this process. When we bring the immigrants here, they get so lost, they lose their children. You want your children to be like you, but we're going to have them like us. So my dad said, let's make a bet. So the minute he landed here, his intention was to make them hafiz, make us ulama. And then he said, then you can go to any career that you like to pursue. And then you can, he didn't stop us from that. Finish our high school and you have your secular education. My mom is also a physician at Jazba. Knows her family was over at our house for 2 months. They said, this is what we want to do. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the children and we all had to become hafiz al-alim. And one of us died on route. One passed away. That's the process. And I told my mom after the janazah, I said, Allah has shown you in your life that your efforts have been accepted. Zindagi mein Allah dikha diya ki Allah ne aapki qurbani kabul farmaya. So we're not far away from this. We can do this. You have scholars here. You have local scholars. I had to go when I was 7 years old. I was put on an airplane alone. Back then you could travel before it was 95. My dad put me on an airplane to go to Chicago and to go to Mufti Nawar Rahman. So may Allah give him barakah in his life. I went straight to his madrasa in Masjid Noor, Chicago, to learn Qaida, Alif Bata. And then obviously after becoming a scholar and us brothers, we're 5, alhamdulillah, we said we have to make something that's just the gold standard of something that our children could go to. So then we established a boarding school. We have 100 applicants every single year. We only take 20. 100 applicants. And the cap is 100. And their GPA, their scores for SAT, their competence are unbelievable. They become hafiz in 2-3 years, they become ulama, and they come back to the community. And take the brightest and make them brighter. That's what we have to do. Somebody came to Mufti Rashid Gangohi rahmatullah, said, "Aapke madrase se jo nikalte hain, wo sab aise hi hai. Farig, like, ek do cheez kar sakte hain." He disrespected the scholars. He said, what? So Mufti Rashid Gangohi rahmatullah said, your best child, you make him doctor or engineer, and then if he's business minded, you put him into business, you're Mehmet, right? Or Gujarati. But then the guy who's just, lost case, he doesn't know east, west, north, south, madrasa. So when you send us your third class, we'll send back the third class, but they're still better than your first class, you know? But when you start sending your best, then we'll see what will happen. And American students, our boys, are talented. Not like Pakistan, they're not talented, they're talented too. But you can't force these kids to go to madrasa. They want to let them go. Salim Bhai, his son was there, one of them, he came back. You couldn't force him to stay, you know? So this is reality. We have to take our children, make them the best. So we made a boarding school. Alhamdulillah, we bought a property in 2014. 100,000 square feet was millions of dollars property, and the recession was around that after. But in 2014 in Michigan, this property was built for $25 million. 100,000 square feet, gym, 6-court basketball gym. Sheikh Fadl has been there himself. We came for one of our graduations, spoke. And right, Sheikh, we saw the property. Alhamdulillah, we had 20 students at that time. 4 boarding. When we made an offer for this building, we made an offer for $750,000. The board people of the school, it was a charter school. They said that in our constitution, we have to sell it to an education institute, but we have offers from other developers. But in our bylaws, we can only sell it to, and you're the only offer from an institute. So my dad says, what do you want? He said, can you add $50,000 more? We bought it at $10 square foot value. $10. 100,000 square feet. Alhamdulillah, over 120 kids have become Hafiz in a few years. Ulama, the young boy who read Jummah and Bathil, he's my student. He moved from Miami. My dad met him. He said, I'm worried about my kids. My dad said, close your eyes. Just close your eyes and move. His father came when we had nothing. Today, his daughters be almost alima. His son became alim in Karachi. He was my brother's classmate. And this kid that came, he struggled so much with drugs. Coming from Florida. Struggled. Became alim. And now he's teaching Hifz and Alim. And that's this story. This is not a fairy tale. And then the growth, the question comes, what are you providing for people who are not local, who cannot come to Michigan and bring their kids there? That they have daughters. So then we established an institute 3-4 years ago after Mufti Abdul Wahab. Mufti Abdul Wahab did his Mufti course with Mufti Asim in Vancouver. Mufti Abdul Wahab was there for 2 years. And Mufti Asim for 2 years, they went over the fatwas. After he came back, we wanted to make something that is more national and international reach, and also that can serve the girls department. We didn't have a girls school. Alhamdulillah, we a year and a half ago, we sited a property, 80,000 square feet for $3 million. The economy is a little better now. Just a mile away from the building that we are at. So it's in their area, auditorium, 1,600 space. We started doing yearly conferences. Our speakers, Suleiman Mullah, Omar Suleiman, Zaid Shakir, may Allah protect all of them. You know, we in our second, third year of our programs, 1,500 people audience, renting the halls from the biggest halls around the convention center. The cost of the conventions were $70,000. You know, so alhamdulillah, we were able to buy this auditorium for this whole space for $3 million. It is a girls' school right now. September opened, this last September. Ijaz Bai's daughter, who's a muallima, graduated from Seattle, is running a school of 100 girls. 40 students in the alima program. MashaAllah. And then it's become the day school because of COVID. We had also a day. We put them in a separate building there. 180 students, 160 students, boys and girls there. So the school is being used. It's going to be used for Miftah. But what has really recognized big growth the most is Miftah. Miftah has become the go-to place for Islamic education for people who want to learn online, want their young professionals. Say you're an engineer, you're a doctor, you only have 6 hours. I want to learn Arabic. My whole life I wanted to learn Arabic, but I never got time. I mean, you learn how to code. They're my kids, my friends, all around their kids, and them, adults. They're learning Japanese for animation, cartoons. Anybody here watch animated cartoons? Their kids? Japanese cartoon, they're learning Japanese. Learn all of this, but no time to learn the Quran language. Allah's going to ask us. So you did this, why didn't you understand the Quran? And it's not hard. I'm telling you right now, if you get 1-2 years to one of our programs, or any program, even locally, or Sheikh Saab or Mufti Suhail, you will learn Arabic, you will enjoy it. Learn the Quran. He's doing it with his wife, mashallah. His wife is his boss. You know, and made him learn. Alhamdulillah, Maryam Institute. That's how you're supposed to do it. So I want you guys to just, I want to just, if you guys can look at this quickly. We had, just on our social media and our growth, we have programs for young people. We have programs for a kid like him. If you have a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, the Miftah Talent has become the most popular program within the youth. And I'm surprised we don't know this, because I'm like, our marketing needs to be better then. Is the fact that your child who's 5 years old to the age of 11, 12, boys and girls, how to develop their voice. My goal was that if a kid is alone and he has a good voice, he's always going to read Quran. He's going to just like singing. You have a good voice, you want to show off a little bit. So the kids become confident. We put the program, we launched the class, in 48 hours, 189 spots are done. And it's $100 a semester. Very cheap. And you're getting 2 hours, Saturday, Sunday, 1 hour, then we put 5 minutes of dua and 10 minutes of adab to learn some respect for these are their kids. And the kids are enjoying it. You can see if you go on our website, you will see all of our finances, all of our work. We have actually printed it on this book. So again, we have a Seerah intensive. Say, in the winter, your family, what are we doing this winter, especially the Seerah? Now we couldn't travel for Umrah. We couldn't go anywhere. 657 people tuned in to learn Seerah 7 days a week, 7 hours. 200 people came on site. I don't know if anybody here was part of it. From Seattle, we had at least 10 people. Bellevue, everyone, but the Murtaza's family, and you got a lot of people tuning in from Seattle, from Medina, from India, from Portugal, from Colombia, from Norway, Sweden. All this stuff is on, like, from analytics we have. So alhamdulillah, I just want 40 states, 15 countries have tuned in, and then I just want to show you like the online programs that we did a little bit. Just the growth, because you guys we have social media analytics. We've had this, our views were 2.3 million in the last 7-8 months. Just social media growth. And our growth during COVID, just on Facebook, was 251%. So from 5,000 to 10,000, 32,000 following, which is not much, but just in 1-2 years. On Instagram, with YouTube, we're looking at 385 increase in subscription on page. We had visits to our page. Our website impressions was 2.2 million. This is not a matrimonial shadi.com. This is ilm. Like, this is a very specific targeted audience. If someone's coming to Miftah, they want to learn something. They're not just coming to like watch a video. 200,000 website visitors with articles that were written, programs that were launched, and 357,000 page view increase. And so these are the things that we had. And then our finances, where it's been used, all of it's written in here. I would like to share this with you. And it's on our website. And how that finance expense was also used. All of this is through our accountant, who has access to everything that we do, all of our accounts. She has access to the PayPal money that's coming in, checks that are coming in, Squarespace, anything that donor box, anything that's coming, all the money is going to the accounts. We have our accountant monitoring it. Everything is going in process as transferred, external audits happening. I just feel like we're responsible. We're responsible. And every state needs something like this. Your Washington state will need something like this. Your children are going to do it.
What are the current programs you have for girls like age 10 to 12? Anything that you guys plan to start pretty soon?
So we do have Miftah Online. Miftah Online has 700 and some plus students. And that is there's a 1-year program. So a child can join that. But for that child who's 10, 11 years old, Miftah Talent. That's just for, and we will be launching Miftah Kids, Seerah, and Tafsir. Not Tafsir.
Especially the Quran and the Arabic that you mentioned. I think especially at this age, the kids learn faster than us.
Yeah, they're very talented. They learn so fast.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to request you, brothers, is that we came with a goal for Seattle. We have a building that we purchased, $3 million building. We still have to pay off a lot of money. And we have a payment of $300,000 that's coming up before Ramadan. And alhamdulillah, our goal was $300,000 to come here. But even if we collect $150,000 from Seattle, it would be a great boost for collecting. In the next month, we can collect the rest. Alhamdulillah, out of the $300,000, we've collected $110,000. These are some of it's in hand 40,000. Everybody is like, we're going to do through Benevity and online. It's going to take some time. Some people are even sending their stocks, fidelity stocks and stuff like that. So we have calculated pledges of 110. I was telling Sheikh Fadl, if we can get 150 and leave Seattle tonight, that would be great for us as a boost. And I want to really thank Abbas Bhai. You guys have supported so many causes. I've just been watching you guys at Al-Masjid Medina in Cordoba, the projects that you guys donated for. May Allah reward you, and Ramadan's going to be packed. You guys are, there's donor fatigue, and then there's the donor madloom. Sometimes you guys are giving so many causes. But I know if you guys give 5,000, so those who could match, it matches to another 5,000, technically. And those who cannot match, even their donations they give, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiply this dunya and akhirah. Money is something that comes and goes. Really, after you go through some difficulties, like right now you hear a news of a relative sick in India, Pakistan. Uska kharcha ke baad mein baat kare. His mother is in the hospital. Kharcha, paison ke baad mein baat karenge. Let's get the ilaj first. That's the attitude when we come to our loved ones. Similarly, this deen is very valuable to us. Hum lagayenge. And Allah will give according to His khazana. Abdullah bin Jafar radiallahu anhu used to give so much money. His wife said to him that, I think you are wasting money. He used to give so much donations. His wife said, I think you're doing israf. So he said to his wife, that me and Allah have a deal. So what do you mean? He says, if my deal with Allah is that I continue to give and He continues to give me. I'm just a panel. I'm just a channel. I funnel it through me and I just share it. That's it. So my humble request is, I don't know what you guys have in mind, but I was really hoping that we can knock off up to 150. We have 40,000 remaining. If everyone just gives 1,000, right, that becomes 2,000 or 20 people, that's 40,000. If you have matching, and if someone gives maybe more than that, someone gives 500, someone gives 2,500, we can easily, knock this off. And your sadaqah jariyah, because of now virtually, is going everywhere. Now it's not about local. You have people. I go anywhere now. These little kids, I see them like we're benefiting. Your kids are going to benefit. The world will benefit, and your sadaqah jariyah will go to their hearts. And I say to my friends who are donors, I have some friends who give $1,000 a month. There's 10 people I just called them friends. I said, listen, I have Miftah. I need you to give 1,000 a month. He said, I call 10 people, 1,000. And that's something you guys can do too, monthly donations. Not 1,000, but 100. $200 a month. And that can also sustain, because we're a $7,000 deficit every single month as we're progressing. That's going to be the deficit for the next 2 years. That's how we have it. And then eventually we'll come out of it after the building is paid off. So we have big payments, and then we have monthly payments, which keeps us in the deficit. Alhamdulillah, we're fine. We're blessed. So if you guys can help us, that would be very great. Sheikh Fadl, you want to?
Alhamdulillah, we'll get the first one in 5,000. Who is it? Inshallah. Anybody here? Inshallah, for this great noble cause. Mubarak month of Rajab also, mashallah. Allah Ta'ala is blessed as Ramadan coming. Means of sadaqah jariyah for our deceased ones in their families.
Ameen.
Shifa for those that are sick also. Allah Ta'ala put barakah in this. The more we give, like you just heard, Abdullah bin Jafar, he had nothing. What did Jafar learn? He came from Habasha after 6 months or something, sent him out to Miftah. And he died, and he left all his children penniless. Rasulullah will make God to the people that send food to the family for Jafar for the next 3 days. The children in there, what did Allah return, give them in return? For the sacrifices of the father, you see. Allah bless the children. So when we give the sacrifice now, Allah Ta'ala will look after the children also. Like that, we give the story of Khidr. وأما الجدار فكان لغلامين يتيمين في المدينة وكان كنزهما وكان أبوهما صالحا. Allah preserved the treasure of this thing of those yatim by Khidr putting the wall straight. Why? Just so the parents were pious, so Allah looked after the children. So the treasure will be preserved for them till they grow up. They'll take it out. Otherwise, the community will devour it and usurp it also. So, alhamdulillah, anybody 5,000 inshallah? Inshallah, 2.5. Let's go to 25. The first one inshallah. Allah reward you, brothers. Anybody there tonight will say, I gave, but I want to give more for the cause of Allah, for the deen of Allah. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we die, what are you going to leave? Illa min thalathi. When Adam dies, sadaqat jariyah, in for which, wala in salihin jariyah. There's the sadaqah jariyah people will benefit. Look at, we are proud. Our daughter from Seattle, mashallah, our Darul student, she's running the program there, subhanAllah. Over 100 students. They're married to one another's third brother. He does his daughter. She was from here, Seattle, alhamdulillah, mashallah. He's proud. So this is like our institute also, subhanAllah, that from our institute here, subhanAllah, teaching all the way, alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala meaning that you see. That from here it's spreading way and way, alhamdulillah. Other side will come there, will go to the ocean, other side the you know, the what do you call it, you get the lakes and all that, you know, subhanAllah, Allah Ta'ala will bless everybody. So alhamdulillah, our contributions also gonna goes towards it, inshallah. Anybody? Two enough? 25? One start. Jazakallah.
Takbir. Allahu Akbar. How much are you going to give, brother?
25.
Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Do you have any form of matching?
Unfortunately,
No problem. Allah will take this and multiply 10 times, inshallah. Say Ameen.
Ameen.
Allah bless you, mashallah. How many children do you have?
please make dua for my little one.
What are the names?
Hania,
Hania,
7-year, 4-year, Hazik,
Hazik,
and Hiba is 2-year, and she has some challenges with her health to make dua for
May
her.
Allah make them pious, righteous, healthy, give them shifa. You took all the H's.
Huh?
All H.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. May Allah give them hidayah and make them guiding stars, inshallah. May Allah give your daughter health and remove all of her physical health challenges. Inshallah. Give your family strength to bear all this, inshallah. May Allah bless you, inshallah.
We have a second one, Hamzan, inshallah. 3. Huh? MashaAllah.
Are
you trying to 25?
2,500? Takbir! Allahu Akbar. Can you be able to, would you be able to match it?
We don't have that much matching, but it's maxed out.
Oh, it's maxed out. Alhamdulillah, he's giving so much donation. Maxed out. That's how it should be. Alhamdulillah. May Allah bless you. May Allah bless your family. May Allah make your children. I see Ibrahim, Umar, and then your daughter's name? Bilal and
Minha.
Minha.
And Maryam.
MashaAllah. Huh? And who?
Maryam.
Maryam. How many kids do you have?
Huh?
How many siblings? 5 and 6 years?
Maryam also came here.
How old is your oldest? You're the oldest?
No, Minha's the oldest.
How old is he? 8 years old?
Yeah.
MashaAllah. 5 and 8 years, man. This guy is. MashaAllah. Oscar nomination.
No, I'll show you guys here. When I came, they were not married. They got 6 now already.
Allahu Akbar.
I think when I came, you were not married.
Mm.
Look at it, 6 children.
May Allah bless them.
Alhamdulillah.
May
I
Allah.
won't tell you about the thing.
When I hear someone has 5 6 children, my body hurts. Look at the woman. Like, man, that's a lot of, may Allah bless your wife and make all your children righteous, pious, hafiz, ulama, du'at, salihin, and make them serve the ummah. Inshallah. Qul ameen.
Also,
I want to sign up for the monthly thing, so I'll take it.
Okay, how much do you want to sign up? So you encourage us.
Let
How
us
much-
see the 2500. Inshallah. Who's the third one? We just Abbas, mashallah.
Abbas bhai already pledged.
Mashallah, no, of course, more.
More, mashallah. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Allah bless you. Abbas
My
bhai.
daughter is now a Adima program. Safe is doing his aging para. Inshallah, Allah will complete. Inshallah,
Ameen.
Usman, inshallah, will also
Ameen.
on the way.
Ameen.
And what's the baby's name?
Umar.
Umar, mashallah. Allah make him like Umar, you know,
Radiallahu
bin Abdul
anhu.
Aziz, Umar, radiallahu anhu,
Ameen.
inshallah. Oh, mashallah, a lot of other great scholars may also.
May Allah make them righteous.
Umar
and pious.
has community already.
Sorry?
We have 3 Umars.
Alhamdulillah. We need more.
Umar and Hamza.
We need more Umars and more Hafsas. Alhamdulillah.
Umar bin Hamza, Umar bin Jafar, Umar bin Abbas.
Alhamdulillah. Anybody else that can give even 1,000, 500, 2,000, anything you can give, inshallah.
Okay, all right. No, you're right, whatever you want.
We have the pledge cards. If we can just, pledge.
Can I just add, like, mashallah, the institute has some good programs online. Like, they have a Friday night live thing. I would request everybody to just listen to them on YouTube or Facebook. Very good family program for kids and for grown-ups. And they have a lot of workshops.
Just gonna give him some.
Availability matters, so all the doctors.
If we can,
Abbas, get some pens or something.
if we could just get a pledge.
Online payment.
Yeah. Donor box. You go to the website, and there if you have matching option, on there the matching link is there. If you can just express your intention, so we have an idea of how much we collected. That's all I want to know. The pledges. That's all. You don't have to say it publicly. You can just share with me. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. May Allah bless you. May Allah put barakah in your family, your children.
Brother.
I can got my jacket.
No, it's raining, right?
But I can got my jacket.
साल